Hey guys, back with a couple more reviews here. First one we're going to do is a movie called This Means War. It's a action romantic comedy, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
Stars Chris Pine, Tom Hardy, and Reese Witherspoon. Basic plot to it is Chris Pine's character, was it FDR was his name? Yeah.
Yes.
And Tom Hardy's character, Turk, both basically fall for the same woman, and they're vying to win her heart. As we always do, I'll give a rating first, and I definitely give this movie a 5 out of 5, all the way across the board. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this movie, I don't think, at all.
I give it a 5 out of 5 myself. I had nothing against it, so it's a great movie. You need to check it out if you haven't already.
The first thing we talked about as soon as we got out of the movie is that Tom Hardy and Chris Pine have such chemistry in this movie, and they play so well off of each other. I don't think I've laughed that hard at a movie in a very long time. I mean, it's been a while since I laughed that hard at a movie, and I was crying almost enough to where tears were in my eyes. I mean, the sad part is this movie is not doing extremely well at the box office. I think part of the reason is because The Vow came out around the same time, and with two romantic movies, more people are going to want to go see The Vow. But I had high expectations for this movie, but it was 100 times better than I thought it was going to be. You know, the commercials were hysterical. I always love watching the commercials. I laughed every time, but
But there's way more to it than just what you see in the commercials.
Oh, there really
There's
is.
so many hilarious parts. You need to see this movie if you haven't.
I think one of the things I liked the most about it is that the plot in the trailer made it sound like they had found the same woman, but then I'm trying to think of how to describe it. He didn't know, FDR didn't know that, what's her name in the movie? I'm trying to remember her name in the movie. Reese Witherspoon. Lauren.
Lauren.
That was
yes.
it. He didn't know that Lauren was also seeing Turk. And they find this out, of course, as you see in the commercial when they flip their computers around, it's the same girl. And the movie just gets funnier from there because they spy on each other and they do all these things to screw each other up. And the scenes that you see in the previews, like when FDR says make it rain and Turk shoots him with a dart, no matter how many times you see those previews, you're going to laugh in the movie. It's just, I don't know why, but we both did. It was still funny. If you've seen
Oh, it was hilarious. And they do such a great job of, like Dustin mentioned, they're great at, I could really believe they were like best friends. And there's just so many things about this movie to love. I mean, there's everything in this movie. If you want to see a movie and you're not sure what you want to see, this is a movie to see, because there's comedy, there's romance, there's action, there's everything you can expect from a movie and more. It's a great movie. I try not to give 5 ratings to too many movies, but this is one that deserved it. And
this is a movie that you buy at midnight at Walmart as soon as it comes out, and you go home and watch it more than once.
yes, it is a movie worth owning. I will add that to my collection when it comes out. Like I said, there hasn't been too many complaints about this movie. I can't think of a single complaint from my opinion, and I'm sure you don't have any.
I don't think there are any.
There really wasn't a single moment that was dull.
Even Chelsea Handler, who plays a small role in this movie, did a great job.
Oh, she was hilarious. I love that they had her in it because I always thought she was hilarious myself. I watched Chelsea lately several times, and I always thought she was a pretty hilarious person. And for being a minor role in the movie, she was pretty hilarious herself in the role. They really gave her some pretty great scenes. So, all in all, it's just a great movie. Casting was fantastic. So, I guess we should, move on to spoilers.
Well, I'm
Is
trying
there
to...
anything else you wanted to give before we go to that?
There's one part with Chelsea Handler where they actually give her a serious moment when she's talking to Reese Witherspoon. And it really shows you that Chelsea Handler is not just a comedic act. She can really, she pulled it off at this scene to where it was very believable. She had a serious scene where she had a moment with her son. It was a good scene. I liked it a lot because you don't see her very often like that.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that was a great scene. Yes, it proves that she's not just a comedian; she can be an actress and a good one at that. So
We were gonna go see this movie last week when it came out, but we just ended up not having the money at the time, so we were kind of late seeing it. But I really hope anybody that hasn't watches this and goes and sees it, because this is one that you want to see in theaters and then you want to watch over and over again. And it's not just, this movie's not just for the women either. It's not just a love story for the women. I mean, The Vow is supposed to be geared more towards women, and I think that's one of the reasons why they had this movie come out around the same time. Because this movie has a love story for the women, it has action for the guys, and part of it is even like a buddy FBI type movie. I mean,
it's a good friend movie.
Yeah, they even had that put in there.
I mean, it was kind of like actually the focus of the movie in a lot of ways, because it was pretty much a bond between friends. Without giving too much away. Well, I mean, this is pretty much a spoiler, so get out if you don't want to hear it. But they grew up literally in the same home, the way I understood it. And they were more like brothers, and they weren't just friends. They were like, I mean, there was great bond between them, and I thought that was great. Obviously, in this movie, it kind of stretches, how, far can a friend go before,
Well, yeah, because they're FBI agents.
Yeah.
Or CIA agents.
Yeah, CIA.
But there's a couple scenes that we will talk about in the spoilers in a minute, but I'll just give a mention to them before I thoroughly talk about them. The scene with FDR and Lauren and the paintings when he's trying to impress her is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I laughed so hard watching that scene. And there was a serious moment after it's over, and I kept laughing because I couldn't stop thinking about the scene before it. I felt bad for laughing, but I couldn't help it. There's that, and as I said, the scenes in the commercial where he says, "Make it rain," all those scenes are just great. It doesn't matter how many times I see this movie, I'm probably going to laugh that hard every time I see this movie. That's really all we can talk about without talking about any of the scenes. So if you guys want to see this or haven't seen this, then get out of here now, because we're going to talk about some of the scenes thoroughly, especially the ending, because I was very satisfied with the ending of it.
Oh, I was too, yeah.
So, if you don't want to know, get out of here. I'm going to wait. I'm going to drink my milk. Get out of here. Yeah, you should be out of here by now. We'll talk about the painting scene at first, because I think that was both of our favorites in this movie.
Yeah, I'd definitely say that was one of my favorite scenes.
There's a scene where FDR is trying to impress Lauren, and he finds out that she loves this certain artist and his paintings, so he takes her to a museum where the original paintings are sitting there, and he's listening to one of his guys. I think his name's Dickerman, I think that's his name, and he's listening to him through the earpiece, and he starts talking to him and telling him about the paintings, because Dickerman knows everything about this guy. And he eventually gets cut off, and Turk cuts in, and he starts saying all these different things. Like, he starts talking about how this painter used to finger his paintings, and how he used to use mud and sticks to use these paintings, and if he couldn't find a stick, he'd use his dick. And it was the funniest scene I've ever seen in my life, and he thought the same thing.
Oh,
there was just
you
so
have
much.
to see it.
Yeah, there was just so much to this scene, and it doesn't sound funny, but it's. I think you laughed just as hard as I did at that scene.
I did. It was hilarious, and there's just so many things to laugh about it. I mean, move on to another scene. There was a scene where, she's just in her home going to watch a movie or something. Fixing some popcorn, dancing around.
Dancing, yeah.
And I just love it. First of all, I could totally see someone dancing at, they're at home alone,
Yeah.
Why not dance a little, about to see a movie, and then they're sneaking around. She never does see them. They're putting cameras in her house, to spy on her. I mean, it's just hilarious because all this time, she turns around, there they are right behind her, hiding behind. It was just hilarious. I thought that scene was well done. So that was another funny scene in the movie, and I liked.
There's one thing I didn't talk about, and anybody that's still watching this, I will say that the camera angles and the camera effects in this movie were excellent. I absolutely loved it, because they would go from, they would use almost like like a radar map to go to the next scene.
Yeah.
And I liked that they did that because it was creative. They would find ways to transition to the next scene through the camera work, and I really like how they did that. They didn't just fade out black and go to the next scene. They had a creative way of doing it. And I really liked that. I think of what my second favorite scene was before we talk about the ending. I really like the woman that played Aunt May. I like when she takes Reese Witherspoon, Lauren, out to the barn. Because you see a serious moment there, and you find out that FDR is not the playboy, never has really been the playboy that he said he was. You know, he had braces and what else was it? Braces and something else.
He wetted his bed. They mentioned that.
Yeah.
But that was later.
Yeah. It was funny because you find out
wore
that
a Superman costume.
that was it. Yeah,
Yes.
Superman costume and braces. And you find out that he wasn't this playboy. He wasn't sleeping with all these
Yeah.
women like
there
you
was
think
more
he is.
to him than that.
Now, one scene that we will talk about that we both were very impressed with before we talk about the ending is there's a scene, and we were trying to figure this out until after the scene was over. For some reason, FDR is in his apartment or his house or whatever it is, and he's watching Titanic by himself. I don't really know a whole lot of guys that watch Titanic by themselves. I
Well-
like the movie, yes, but I don't watch it by myself very often. You know, it's especially a guy like him. He's that playboy type. You know.
Well, see, I get where obviously Dustin is coming from on that part. I didn't really get why he was necessarily watching it, but I actually thought it was funny, and I liked that scene. I thought it was very, it shows that he's not just the dicky guy who
Yeah, it
that he
shows
actually
has a heart.
has a heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that scene.
Now-
That was a very good scene.
Now that scene there, what happens is there's a woman that has a layover every Tuesday, and I don't know, was it his girlfriend or someone he slept with every Tuesday?
The way I took it was just someone he
Yeah.
slept with.
I think it was just a woman that he slept with every Tuesday on her layover day because she was a stewardess, and she comes down his elevator because I guess he has a big ass house. I
Yeah.
think.
I think it's supposed to be like a penthouse or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he tells her to leave, and that's when you realize that he's actually has a thing for Lauren because he doesn't sleep with this girl. And we both agreed, and we figured out at the end of that scene why he was showing Titanic. They used the background music for Titanic as to push the emotion for the scene after he realizes that he's in love with Lauren. And we both agreed that that was just an amazing thing to do. That was so creative for them to do that, you know.
One more scene I'd like to give a shout out to before we go to the ending was there's a scene where RJ takes her to basically a pound or something, and I just loved it. He pretends to know the people there, like he's there all the time. It's just hilarious. He calls her, I don't know, Betty, and then this little kid, Nick, like he knew him.
Yeah.
And it's a hilarious scene, you know. He takes out this dog, you know. You think it'd be a gentle little dog there. I don't know what kind of dog it was, but it was a small dog. Starts biting him, attacking him and crap, and this whole time she never notices it. She thinks he's just holding on to the dog.
Looks like he's suffocating.
Yeah, and it's a hilarious scene, and
The last part.
then the last part, yes,
Yeah.
we have to give a shout out to that, was when he decides to kind of impress her, say he's going to adopt a dog, and he's like, I want the oldest and sickest dog here. And
his exact words were, "I want the oldest and sickest
sickest
bastard here." That's what he said. It was funny
And
too.
the way he just landed the line and said, it was hilarious, and
I don't. Think
I love
there's-
that scene.
I don't think there's anything wrong with this movie whatsoever.
there really isn't. You need to check it out. There's so many hilarious scenes that we didn't mention, so you need to
Yeah.
watch the movie. You'll love it. I know I did. Dustin did, obviously. So check it out. It's a great movie.
And we'll talk about the ending before we end this. As we said before, I was very satisfied with the ending, as was he. He expected when we walked into it for her not to get either one of them, and then Did she ever really explain why she chooses FDR over Turk?
Well, there's no,
I think that's
real
okay.
explanation. I guess you're just supposed to assume that she had a better connection with them. You know, they're... I guess in the long run, in the ending, you know, let's just say there's a scene where she's in danger, and the way I see it is she trusted him with her life. That's the way I see it. The see it is that she trusted him more, maybe, with her life. That's just the way I kind of took it at the end. That when it came down to it, if she was in trouble, he was the one that she would go to. That's the way I took it. And I assumed that was kind of part of her choosing.
I really hope I'm saying his name. Wasn't it Turk? Wasn't Tom Hardy's name Turk in that movie?
I'm pretty sure.
I really hope
we
that's
really
right.
should have looked on this a little more. But we saw 2 movies today. and the one we were a little disappointed in, but we'll get to that later. But it's a great movie. For those who out there, sorry if we did mess up their names. I'm pretty sure those are right, though.
I know FDR and Lauren were right.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure about Tom Hardy's. Now I will say this before we end this. I am becoming a huge Tom Hardy fan. I will mark out, which is a wrestling term, I'm sorry. I will mark out for this man through every movie he does. He was in Warrior and he was amazing. He was in this and he was hilarious. And he's playing Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. And this man, if played right, can have a huge career.
Oh,
I mean, this man did amazing in this job, as will Chris Pine. Chris Pine started acting before he did, of course, because he did Star Trek and all that. See, Star Trek is equal to Chris Pine's big movie, as The Dark Knight Rises will be for Tom Hardy.
I will also agree with him on that. I think he's a great actor. If you haven't seen the movie Warrior, you should check it out. It's a great movie. He really gives his all in that movie, so you should check it out. It's definitely one of our favorite movies of 2011, so... rent it, do something, but it's a great movie. You should look into it. Also, yes, the casting I thought was very great. Obviously, Chris Pine I thought did a great job. Obviously, like I said, I totally agree with him about. But obviously, you can't go wrong with Reese Witherspoon. There's not a more gorgeous woman out there. The only one I can compare her to is Natalie Portman. So they couldn't have got cast any better. She's like the ultimate American girl, I guess you'd say. The girl next door that everyone wished they lived next to. So they cast well. Have no complaints about the movie. The movie was great. The ending was great. Every part of the movie was great.
The only other thing I have to say before we end this is any guy that doesn't enjoy this movie, I'm not even kidding. If you don't enjoy this movie, you will at least enjoy Reese Witherspoon dancing in only a shirt. Now that scene, I'm not going to lie, is a very sexy scene for her because that woman's hot. I'm not going to lie, that woman is hot. So even if you're a guy and you don't enjoy this movie, go see it just to see her dance in almost just her underwear. I don't even know if she's wearing underwear. I don't even know. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll do another review
Thanks.
later.